In the shadow of the towering Oakenridge Mountains, the village of Eldermere was nestled amidst rolling hills and a thick forest known as the Valewood. Once vibrant and teeming with life, Eldermere had become a place shrouded in fear and despair. Its people walked with wary eyes, their steps quickened by whispers that seemed to follow them, even in daylight. By night, no one dared venture beyond the safety of their locked doors. The curse was said to begin with nightmares. The afflicted would toss and turn in their sleep, haunted by visions of fire, weeping faces, and a woman shrouded in shadow. Then came the whispers, sibilant voices that grew louder each night, until the victim could no longer bear it. Finally, a mysterious sickness would consume them, leaving their bodies cold and their eyes wide with terror. Ella had heard these stories all her life, but they seemed distant, mere tales to frighten children into behaving. That changed when the curse claimed her father. Matthew, the village healer, was a man of reason and compassion, the type who dismissed superstition as a symptom of ignorance. But one fateful evening, he staggered home, his face pale, muttering about voices in the woods. By the next morning, he was bedridden, his condition worsening with each passing hour. Desperation led Ella to the village elders, a council of stooped, gray-haired men who held tightly to Eldermire's secrets. The curse of Celine, they whispered gravely. Your father is paying for the sins of our ancestors. Ella was furious. What sins? What could possibly warrant this cruelty? The elders exchanged uneasy glances. Finally, one of them spoke. It was over a century ago. Celine was an herbalist, accused of witchcraft after a child died from a fever. She was innocent, but fear turned the villagers against her. They drove her into the forest, where she perished in her despair. Before she died, she cursed Eldermere, vowing that no generation would escape her wrath. But that's absurd, Ella protested. Punishing people who weren't even alive at the time. The elders looked away, ashamed. The curse is real, child, and it's not something we can fight. Your only hope lies in the Valewood, where Celine's spirit lingers. Perhaps she will listen to you. The journey begins. With her father's condition deteriorating, Ella resolved to confront the source of the curse. Armed with a lantern, a silver pendant her mother had left her, and her father's old journal of herbal remedies, she ventured into the Valewood. The villagers watched her go with pity, for none who had entered the cursed forest had ever returned. The forest was a labyrinth of towering trees, whose twisted branches seemed to weave a canopy of darkness. As Ella ventured deeper, the air grew colder, and an unnatural stillness enveloped her. The only sounds were the crunch of leaves underfoot and her own ragged breathing. Then came the whispers. At first, they were faint, indistinct murmurs, but as the hours passed, they grew louder, taking on distinct words. Turn back. You don't belong here. She sees you. Ella gripped her pendant tightly, feeling its warmth as a comfort against the chill creeping into her bones. Suddenly, the ground beneath her gave way, and she tumbled into a hidden ravine. She landed in a bed of moss, her lantern extinguished. Groaning, she sat up and fumbled for her matches. When the light flickered to life, she saw them, hundreds of eyes, glowing like embers in the dark. They belonged to creatures, twisted, shadowy things with elongated limbs and too many teeth. They watched her with predatory hunger, but none moved closer. The pendant, she realized, was protecting her. Its glow grew brighter as the creatures hissed and retreated into the shadows. Ella wasted no time climbing out of the ravine, her resolve hardening. After hours of wandering, she stumbled upon a clearing. In its center stood a decrepit cottage, its walls sagging and covered in moss. The air here was heavier, tinged with the metallic scent of blood. Ella approached cautiously, her heart pounding. Inside, the cottage was a shrine to despair. The walls were covered in symbols carved deep into the wood, each using a black, tar-like substance. A cauldron sat in the center, its contents long since dried to a dark crust. On a table littered with broken vials and dried herbs, Ella found a journal. The leather-bound book was brittle with age, but its pages were filled with Celine's handwriting. As Ella read, the full tragedy of Celine's life unfolded. The herbalist had been a kind woman, beloved by many, until jealousy and fear turned the village against her. Her rival, a man named Gideon, had poisoned a child and framed Celine for the crime. Her pleas of innocence fell on deaf ears, and she was cast out, left to die in the forest. Desperate and broken, Celine had turned to forbidden magic, binding her soul to the Valewood with a powerful curse. Let the blood of Eldermere suffer as I have suffered, she had written. Let their joy turn to ash, their peace to torment. Only when they acknowledge their sins and make amends shall I find peace. Suddenly, the temperature in the room plummeted. As breath fogged as a shadowy figure emerged from the corner, its form vaguely humanoid, but flickering like smoke. You dare read my pain, the figure hissed. Its voice was like shards of ice scraping against glass. You are one of them. Why should I not tear you apart? Ella stood her ground, clutching her pendant. Because I want to end this. I want to help you find peace. The figure laughed bitterly. Peace? There can be no peace for the betrayed. But if you wish to try, prove your worth, face the trials of the Valewood. The first trial, the Path of Shadows, tested her resolve. The forest came alive, its trees shifting and twisting to trap her in a maze. The whispers returned, louder and more insidious. They mocked her, dredging up memories of her failures and fears. But Ella pressed on, using her pendant's glow to guide her. The second trial, the Pool of Despair, forced her to confront her deepest regrets. A still, black pool reflected her past, her mother's death, her father's illness, and the guilt she carried for not being able to save them. As the visions threatened to overwhelm her, she whispered, "I am more than my failures." The pool rippled, and the visions dissolved. The final trial, the Flame of Truth, required her to light a torch using the fire of her own soul. It was a grueling test of willpower, but as determination burned brighter, when the torch ignited, its golden light dispelled the darkness around her. Celine appeared, her form less shadowy now. "You have strength," she admitted, "but strength alone cannot break the curse. You must restore what was taken from me." Ella returned to Eldermere and demanded the truth from the elders. Under pressure, they revealed the existence of a locket containing a lock of Celine's hair, stolen during her exile and hidden in the church's altar. Ella retrieved the locket but was confronted by the village priest, Gideon's descendant. He attacked her, accusing her of defiling sacred ground, but the pendant's light shielded her long enough for her to escape. Back in the forest, Ella presented the locket to Celine. The witch's form softened as she touched it, memories flooding back. Tears streamed down her spectral face. "I was betrayed, yes, but I see now that my vengeance has caused more harm than healing. Thank you for showing me the truth." Celine dissolved into a gentle breeze, and the curse lifted. The mist cleared, the forest brightened, and the villagers awoke from their nightmares. Ella became a hero, a symbol of compassion and redemption. Though Eldermere began to heal, Ella carried the scars of her journey. The locket remained with her, a reminder of the power of forgiveness and the dangers of letting hatred fester. Celine's story was passed down, not as a warning of witchcraft, but as a lesson in the importance of justice tempered with empathy. The witch's curse was broken, but its lesson lived on. Redemption is born from understanding, and true justice begins with compassion. Thanks for watching. If you loved this video, please give a like and subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon so you never miss any update from us. Share this story with your friends.